guide for about. David has been a Costa Rican bird guide for about 15 years. He specializes in ecology and sustainable development. He has birded for several international birding tour companies, including ours. Besides leading tours, David works as a wildlife manager for Finca Canteros Environmental Association in the Monteverde Orchid Garden. He's also an accomplished wildlife photographer. With no further ado, David Rodriquez. You can go, man.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Chuck, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you all, you folks, for your time listening to me. So what I would like to do is to talk about just a little bit about what we have here in Costa Rica, in case if you would like to come one day on a birding tour. Like I was talking before, we are such a small country, but we are surrendered of nature. So like we can see here in the map of the right side, the map of the continent, the whole continent, the America continent. So we are right in the middle of North and South America. That's one of the main reasons why we have this incredible biodiversity of flora and fauna. So thanks to the position, the strategic position that we have, so we have species from North America, and we also have species from South America. And we also have our own species. So when this means that there are some species possible to find only either in Costa Rica or in Central America. So yes, as you can read, almost 20,000 square miles. Yes, it's a very small country. So one day it's possible to go from the Caribbean side, from the Caribbean Sea to the Pacific side. It would take us like 8 hours. So yeah, basically, if you want to see a sunrise in the Caribbean Sea, and then you can go and see the sunset in the Pacific side. So yes, 86 families of birds. That's a lot. And nowadays we have 925 species of birds. We have more birds than United States and Canada together. And this is because, yes, like I was telling you, because of the position where we are, we have 7 endemic birds. That means that those 7 species are only possible to find in Costa Rica. So we have 3 species that are on mainland, 2 species of hummingbirds and an tanager. And there are 3 more species on Cocos Island. This is an island 500 kilometers from the shoreline, the Pacific shoreline of the country. So I'm not sure in miles, but just to give you an idea, to go to Cocos Island, it takes like 37 hours on a boat. So it's a lovely journey. By the way, I've been there just only once, but over there we have the Cocos finch, Cocos cuckoo, and Cocos flycatcher. So by the way, the Cocos finch is related with the Darwin's finches from Galapagos Islands. So, oh yeah, so this is very important. This is just a brief information about what we have, because Costa Rica is divided by 4 main mountain ranges. They all are right in the middle of the country. So we have the Pacific slope, the left side of the map, where you can see the blue and the kind of reddish color, and the Caribbean slope is at the other side, where you can see the green color. So thanks to these barriers that we have, some species diverge in such an interesting way. until yes, they become a different species. Some of those examples are the fire-billed aracari in the Pacific lowlands and the collar aracari. They shared an ancestor, a common ancestor, but nowadays they are different. They are considered different species. They are completely different species due to these barriers that we have. So that's what we call allopatric species. Pretty sure that you in United States or North America, you have a lot of these kind of examples, because yes, could be a barrier, could be a mountain range or a river or a lake. So there are different barriers that helps to create this species speciation. So, so we have 21 important bird areas. So basically, the whole country, it's an important bird area. This is a classification by BirdLife. So the classification includes like important habitats for birds, like nesting sites, wetlands, the paramo, which is a very important habitat for highland species, and so on. So, like Chuck was telling you, those are the 5 main places that I'm going to talk about in this presentation. So the start, you can see right at the middle of the map, of Costa Rica map, it's where we start. That's San Jose. Well, actually it's Alajuela. The international airport is in Alajuela, not in San Jose, but we just say that the international airport is in San Jose. So from this start, we move to the point number 1, which is Carara National Park and Tarcoles River. Number 2, it's Monteverde, the Monteverde Cloud Forest. Number 3 is the Rnl La Fortuna area. This is where the Rnl Volcano is located. Number 4 is further at the north, nearby the border with Nicaragua. So over here we have the Caño Negro and Medio Queso wetlands. And number 5 is La Selva Biological Station, that is running by Organization for Tropical Studies. And so yes, and then we go back to where we started. So as you can see, this is it's a loop around the country. Those are like the main hotspots that we have in Costa Rica. Of course, there are some other places where also it's possible to find different species of birds. But in a 12 days tour, I would say that this loop is like the most important one that you can take, because yes, from one side, from one side to the other ones, it's like, well, we are going to talk more about that, but on average is like 2.5 or 3 hours from one side to the other side. So so that's very good, because we are saving time, right, as we are traveling around the country. So all right, so here we go. This is our first place, which is called Starcodes River and Carara National Park. So from the Central Valley, from where we started to Starcodes River, it would take us like 1.5 hours with some stops, of course. We just finished it. I just finished a birding trip with Partnership for International Birding. We made a couple of stops on the way to Tarcoles River, and we got very cool species like the yellow-naped parrot, which is an endangered species, and of course the majestic Scarlet Macaw. Oh yes, Charles?
No, just ignore me. That's just, for some reason I can't get my text box up, but I'll sort it out.
Okay.
I'm being stupid. Go ahead.
All right. So anyway, so yes, this area in the Tarcoles River and Carara National Park is one of the best sites of the country to look for the Scarlet Macaws. we have two species of macaws in the country, the Scarlet Macaw and the Great Green Macaw. But, well, the Great Green Macaw is possible to find only in the Caribbean slope. So later we're going to talk about that species. So now we have to focus on the Pacific side. And so, yes, this place, the Tarkov River and Carrara National Park, it's a very interesting place because, well, some people suggest that right there where you are seeing this star is where the Amazon forest starts. Because if we continue further up to the north of Central America, we will see, or we will find only dry forest. But if we go further down, we will start to see rainforest and rainforest. So the rainforest goes until meet the Amazon forest. So some people suggest that right there where you are seeing this star is where the Amazon forest begins. So it is also an interesting place because this is like it's a transition between the dry forest and the rainforest. So over here is possible.
What are some of your favorite birds you see in the area, David?
Here we go.
There we go.
Sorry. No, what I was saying is that it's very good because we can see the species from the dry forest, like this motmot, which is called the turquoise-browed motmot. This is a national bird of Nicaragua and El Salvador. But also we can find some other species like the common blackhawk, which is up there, and that's a more widespread species. And this little guy that we have down here at the left side in the corner, this is one of the main targets of the whole trip. This is the Mangrove Hummingbird, one of the 7 endemic birds that we have in the country. So to find this bird, we have to take a boat tour. So to take this tour, we have to go, we are going to be on a private boat. It's a big boat where we can go with cameras, big cameras, tripods, everything. And the boat is just for us, of course, with a captain that knows the area. And so we have to go to this special mangrove forest to look for, not just for this mangrove hummingbird, but also for mangrove vireo and some other specialities of the mangrove. But this hummingbird is one of the main targets of the whole trip. So we also have puff birds like white-whiskered puffbird, the roseate spoonbill, and the Scarlet Macaw. Like I was telling you, this is one of the, it's a hotspot to look for the Scarlet Macaws. Then after go to the boat trip, we will go to the Carrara National Park to walk around the trails. So over here, we have another, it's possible to find a huge variety of birds. There are over 400 species of birds. So there are just a few of them. This is a golden tail, blue-throated golden tail. It's a hummingbird. Down below is one of the famous mannequins on Earth, the red cap mannequin. Some people call it the Michael Jackson because of the leg that this bird likes to do in order to attract females. So up at the right side of the corner, we have an ant pita. Ant pitas are always good to find. Most of you are pretty sure to know how difficult it is to spot an ant pita. So this is a strict-chested ant pita. And we have this stunning mannequin, which is called the orange color mannequin. This is one of the birds that diverge from the Caribbean and the Pacific side. So at the Caribbean side, we have a white color mannequin. But here in the Pacific side, we have this beautiful orange color mannequin. So all those birds are possible to find in Carrara National Park. So over here in Carrara National Park, it's very humid. Trails are pretty good. They all are easy walk. And so, yes, I would say this well, besides those species of birds, yes, there are some other species, of course, to find. And also here there's some.
We move on to Elvin. Let's see if there's any questions out there. Anybody have any questions about Carrara National or Carrara National Park? The boat ride, the land birding, the reasonable trails, and about how many miles do you walk on those trails?
Less than 3 miles.
Okay, and that's over like an afternoon after a late afternoon and the next day, right?
Exactly. Yes. The first day that we're going to be there we are going to do the boat tour. In the afternoon, we will check one of the trails of the national park, and the next day we're going to the other trail, the main trail of the national park.
Right, and so it's sort of easy peasy start to the birding tour and very productive, and there you go. Any other questions out there, folks? Again, you can either open your microphone and ask away, or you can text them in. Either way, questions are welcome.
Yes, please, more than welcome.
Hearing no questions, David, you can continue on. Are you wrapping up on Correa Era or moving on to the set? Either one's fine.
Okay.
Moving on to Monteverde.
Exactly. Now we are heading to Monteverde. So from the Carrara National Park area to the Monteverde Cloud Forest, it's like 2.5 hours, maybe less. It all depends about the traffic jam. That's one of the problems that we have here. Our highways are not as big as the one that you have in the States. So, but yes, anyway, so the Monteverde Cloud Forest, it's considered the most popular cloud forest in the world due to all the research that has been done there, all because that since 1960s, there has been biologists around this specific region. So all because Quakers, they came to Monteverde in 1950s, and since that, Monteverde became so popular. So we have the Monteverde Cloud Forest Preserve with almost 60,000 acres. But besides the Monteverde Cloud Forest Preserve, there are some other, there is a question here. It says that, I read that the Costa Rica government made feeding wild animals illegal. Does this include feeders for hummingbirds and tanagers, etc.? That's a good question, Steve. Indeed, the government create this law. Nowadays, because I'm part of this group of biologists, we are trying to change a little bit the law, because when the law was made, it wasn't like properly well. By that time, they were thinking about the problem that this specific national park called Manuel Antonio National Park, which is like the most popular national park in the country. So it's a very crowded place. So they were having this huge issue because people like to feed animals, of course, like they like to feed wildlife, especially monkeys. We all like monkeys. So it's funny to see a monkey carrying a banana. Of course, it's very bad for their health. Bananas are not native from Americas, and they are full of sugar. So the government decided to create a law in order to try to stop this activity, but they didn't think about these other places where people live. Basically, they live every day with feeders, so people go there and to take pictures of the hummingbirds or tanagers. So it's an interesting topic that we are trying to change, because it's illegal, it's true, but a lot of people are still doing, and the government knows that. So yes, it's quite interesting, because I don't know, due to climate change, it seems that some species of trees are not flowering as they should do, and so we're not sure, but it could happen. Like some species of hummingbirds are disappearing, at least population are reducing because they don't have enough food. So in this case, a hummingbird feeder could help to restore this population of birds. but it's, yes, I have to say that in Costa Rica, we're still dealing with this topic. So anyway, in Monteverde, actually, there is this famous Hummingbird Gallery. It's the oldest hummingbird feeder of all Latin America. There was this biologist from the States called Michael Fotgen. Maybe some of you have heard about him. He's a very popular photographer, a wildlife photographer. So this guy was the who started feeding hummingbirds. That was in the beginning of 1980s. And so there is a hummingbird feeder there. So yes, and so about Monteverde, the Monteverde cloud forest habitat, there is this big problem. Oh, a second, what's going on here? There's this big problem that is called, yes, but because climate change, some animals are moving towards higher elevation. As the cloud forest is disappearing, animals, they need to look for a different place to live. So one of those animals is the resplendent quetzal. Probably all of you want to see it, or maybe some of you already have seen it. So the resplendent quetzal, it's a bird that likes to nest in the cloud, in a specific habitat, which is called the cloud forest. And so, yes, we have seen how this habitat is disappearing due to climate change. So the resplendent quetzal used to nest, like 20 years ago, they used to nest nearby the Santa Elena town in the Monteverde area. Nowadays, we have to go further, like 2-3 miles up hills to try to find their nests. So we are not sure what will happen with this bird in a short period of time. But so far, yes, what we know is that, yes, their habitat is disappearing. So it's very sad, but well, as we all need to adapt to different conditions. Otherwise, oh yes.
Yeah, just go ahead and tell us more about the birds that you like in the Monteverde area. I know the quetzal is the key, or the big.
So yes, we have the quetzal. There is also a trogon, the toucanet. This is the smallest species of toucan that we have in the country, the northern emerald toucanet. And the hummingbird that we have down there is the magenta-throated woodstar. We also have the black-faced solitaire, bar forest falcon. This is a forest falcon that likes to follow army ants. And this other little fellow that we have here is a golden crown warbler. This is one of the few resident warblers that we have in the country. The warbler family, it's a North American family, right? So most of the species of warblers that we have in the country are from North America, but the golden crown warbler is one of the few residents that we have that they don't migrate, they stick around during the whole year in Costa Rica. So Leson's mudmud, formerly known as a blue crown. Yeah, now it's called the Leson's mudmud. And the keelbill toucan. Please text, oh, okay. Keelbill toucan, all right. So now,
great. Any other questions about the Monteverde area and birding there? I suspect there's some people in the calls who's had some great experiences there. It's really the area I first became a bird watcher back in the day. And there you go. Any questions at all for David Rodriquez? And there you go. And Monteverde area is really made up of a number of little birding areas now. I mean, back in the day, there was a big reserve, and then there was something called the Santa Elena Children's Garden. I don't even know
the Children's Eternal Rainforest. Yes, that's one of, like I was telling you, yes, besides the Monteverde Cloud Forest Preserve, we have the Children's Eternal Rainforest, Santa Elena Reserve, and all connected makes the largest biological corridor of the country. So there is this huge habitat where animals can move around. So that's why we have a lot of chances to find, maybe in 2 days, we have the chance to find over almost 200 species, I will say, yes.
That's what I was going to ask you. So besides these stars of the show, you typically find about what do we spend? We spent a couple nights there, so call it an afternoon, a full day, and a morning. How many species you typically find in that period of time? Like 110, 130, or more?
Yeah, well, here in Monteverde, yes, maybe yes, pretty sure over 100.
Yeah, okay. In like that day and a half.
Yeah,
You know, just
exactly.
the typical birding tour. I'm sure everybody on the phone knows that. You know, you get to someplace in the afternoon, you do some birding, then you wake up the next day, you have a full day of bird watching, and before you leave, you usually have another good morning of bird watching, focusing on any species you may have missed in the area. I don't know that I write that on every single itinerary, but it's almost like I can do it in my sleep. So a couple more questions here. Oh, how far of a walk to see the Quetzal? Back in the day, it actually took a lot of walking, but these days we actually find it without much walking. Am I crazy about that, or is that about right?
That's a good question because with the Quetzal, there is this altitudinal migration, which means that the resplendent Quetzal moves around the Monteverde area. So depends of the year, the Quetzal is in one side, or then in other time of the year moves to another specific area. But it all depends about the food of the source of food, which is a wild avocado. So like for example, this past trip, it took us like 10 minutes to reach this wild avocado tree where they were feeding. So what we did is like we just walk. We were walking quite fast because we heard that it was better to be there early in the morning. So we decided to go directly to the tree, to the wild avocado tree that was bearing fruit, was still bearing fruits, and so and wait around. It was a successful idea, a successful plan, because we did see the male and female. So yes, in 10 minutes walk, we got we could see them. Well, we had to wait a little bit. We wait for 15 minutes more. What's the Trogan?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some great questions here. What Trogan species was in that photo? The other two are really about bird finding, and one of them, I truly love the question about the Waddle Belle bird. And the reason I love it is because it's a bird you hear a great deal of, and it is in sort of a British bird watcher was looking for the Waddle Belle bird when I bumped into him, and his enthusiasm for finding that bird is kind of what pulled me into bird watching. I realized what a passion it was, and there you go. So, do we look for the umbrella bird in Monteverde, and how do we do on the Waddle Belle bird? Those are two great questions.
Yeah, well, about the umbrella bird, that's a tough one. Everybody wants to see, of course. The best season to look for that bird in Monteverde, I will say, is from April to June. There is this Curicancha Reserve. That's one of the main places to look for it. But there's no guarantee. I mean, I can't guarantee anything about this bird because it's so rare. We know so little about its behaviors, and we're just like getting more information about this species, because actually it's one of the rarest species of the neotropic. And about
which species of umbrella bird is it?
the bare-neck umbrella bird, which is endemic of Central America. It's not like the species from South America. Yes.
Right. So bare-neck umbrella bird. Now, is it easier to find in other parts of Central America? Dare I ask that question of Costa Rica? So it's just a tough bird all over Central America.
Exactly.
It's not really just better to get in the early rainy season. Is the real brutal truth of that, right?
Yep.
Yep, I got it. And then Waddle Belle bird. I know that sucker can be on top of a tree and takes quite a bit of work to find. Do you typically find it on most tours, or I know you hear it?
It also depends of the year, Chuck, because this bird also makes a altitudinal migration. So
Yeah.
there is a season of the year, which is the season is just begun in Monteverde area. The season goes from late February to July. So yeah, that's like the best.
Later in the regular season for the tour, and then again, some of these birds are better found in the rainy season. And I mean, people think I'm crazy when I market rainy season tours, but they do have their place for some species. And there you go. Let me. Oh my God, you got 5 Waddle Belle birds on the last tour. Is that what you just said, man?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. So the last tour they had 5 Waddle Belle birds. Sweet. And that tour was in started early January area, just wrapped up about February 10th, I think. Oh, and then just a quick question about the Trogon species there. Which Trogon species is that, brother?
Yeah, that's the orange, well, formerly known as an orange belly trogon. But yeah, nowadays it's called the colored trogon, but still with the orange belly.
Yeah. So to answer that question, that was collared trogon, formerly known as the better named orange belly trogon. And there you go. All right, my friend, let's hear about where we headed towards next. Rnl.
No, the Rnl area. So from here to from Monteverde to Rnl area, this is one of the longest distance we're going to have. And the reason why it's so long, because if you look at the map, it looks very close each other. I mean, yes, they both are. If you look at the map, they're very close, but there is not a road that connects like straight to Rnl area from Monteverde. So we have to go all the way around this reservoir, an artificial lake called Rnl Lake. So that's why it takes like 3 hours with a couple of stops, 3.5 hours to reach Rnl. So this is where the Rnl volcano is located. It used to be an active volcano, no, not anymore. Well, now there are just some gases and some water vapor coming out from the top of the hill. It's considered, yes, the youngest volcano in the country. Costa Rica has over 100 volcanoes. We have only 4 volcanoes that are active right now. So, and yes, the lagoon, the Rnl Lake, it's a Ramsar site. Ramsar is a classification of wetlands that we have for all over the world in order to protect them. So here we are going to look for antbirds. This is a wonderful place to look for antbirds. So we have the foothills of we are going to be at the foothills of the Caribbean slope. So that's where most of the species of birds are located, not just here in Costa Rica, but all over the world because of the specific elevation and the amount of water, the amount of rain. Birds love the rain, so those are like this, the best places to look for birds. So in this case, we have the dull-mantled antbird, which is the one at the top of the left corner. Then, well, the aracari. Pardon me?
We can go to all the questions after we take a break.
Okay. The color aracari. This is a smaller toucan than the normal ones. So we have this giant hummingbird. It's not a hummingbird, looks like a hummingbird, but it's a jacamar, a rufous-tailed jacamar. And we have the white collar mannequin. Just to tell you just a brief information about this. As you can see, like we were talking about the allopatric species, this is like one of the best examples that we have in the country. So on the Caribbean side, we have the white collar mannequin, which is at the left side of your screen, and at the right side is the orange collar mannequin. As you see, both look very similar, but due to the barriers, due to the mountain range, they are nowadays a different species. This is one of the main reasons why Costa Rica is so diverse, because we have a lot of microhabitats. So here we also have the sparrow, black striped sparrow. This is it's a common species. I would say it's a common species at the Caribbean side and also the Pacific slope. Another ant pita. In this case, this is the one at the right side, at the top of the right side of your screen, the thicket ant pita. As the name suggests, it likes the thicket. It's very, very hard to see. This day, I was very lucky to take this picture because the bird likes to hide. Always is a skittish species. It's one of those skittish species that normally you just hear it, but you don't see it. So in Rnl area, not just in Rnl area, but around the Caribbean slope, we have the curassow, the great curassow. In this case, I took the picture with, they were crossing a trail. So the mommy and a chick. And another antbird. In this case, this is the bicolor antbird. Here in Rnl area, one of the main things that we are trying to find, it's an army ant swarms. Army ant swarms are always special because a lot of birds follow this group of ants. They don't eat the ants, but they are trying to catch the insects that are flushing out by the ants. So we also have this couple of beautiful mudmoths. The one on the left side of your screen is the killbill mudmoth, and the one on the right side is the broadbill mudmoth. Those two birds are very interesting too, because sometimes they interbreed. So we don't know exactly. We haven't seen if the nest, I mean, if the chicks can go out of the nest and if they success, but we know that they interbreed. So in this case, the killbill mudmoth, the one on the left side, it's very rare, not just in Costa Rica, but all over the world. This bird lies in just few areas in Costa Rica and some other parts in North Central America. So an Rnl area is one of the best places to look for it. So this is one of the main targets of this place in Rnl. I don't know if someone.
All right. Any questions about the Rnl area? And it is like a sort of rainforest habitat, and there's a lot of lodging around there. Some of it has better birding on the grounds than others, but we never have a poor bit of birding there. How many species you typically add to the trip at Rnl, like 30, 40 or better?
In Rnl, like, yes, at least. But yes, it all depends. Of course, it's a rainforest, so I never like to talk about this, but sometimes it rains, right? Sometimes you can't go out. But yes, no, the Rnl area is a very productive.
So typically you add 30 or 40 species there, and but yeah, and that's sort of adding to the total. And the other funky thing about Costa Rica tours that not a lot of people realize is like the demand for ecotourism in Costa Rica is just off the scales. Even now, it's been crazy the last 3 or 4 months. And sometimes we have to route tours one way versus the other. It usually works out fine. I mean, just catch up on the birding at the tail end instead of the back end or in the middle or whatever. But these tours do get rerouted, so not all the time. I'd say about 30% in of the time. And there you go. Any other questions out there? You can text them in, or you can take the mic off and ask away. We did just get a question here on Rnl. Oh, something about a swim at the Tabacon Hot Springs. And there you go. I don't know
sounds very fancy.
Or not, man.
No, indeed, there are a lot of hot springs around Rnl area. The Tabacon is the fanciest, but the most popular. Yeah, and they're very cool. Yes, but I don't know. Well, the people are interested about that. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions about birding in the Rnl area? If not, we'll move on to
Well, just a couple of things.
sure.
So in this area, there are some hanging bridges where at least
Oh,
this
yeah.
last trip we went through them, and it's very cool. That's a very cool experience to walk through the canopy of the forest. It's something very, very special. It's possible to find different species of birds that normally you don't see it because we have the canopy, the treetops right in front of our eyes. And there is this other place nearby, very, very close by the La Fortuna, which is like the main town. And it's another loop. It's a trail called Bugatti Trail, but this is an interesting loop because it's a very short walk, maybe a mile, maybe less than a mile, but oof, it's surrounded by wildlife. So those two places are very cool. And normally that's where we go in Arenal. So from Arenal to Caño Negro, as you see, now we are heading to the north, nearby the Nicaraguan border. So here we have this couple of wetlands. They both are very important for the birds of the country. And they both are threatened by agro industry. In this area, well, almost there are few farms in the, well, not few, but a lot of farms actually, pineapple fields surrounded by the wetlands. So that's a huge problem that we are having around those wetlands because of the erosion, because all the pollution that the fields produce. But talking about birds, in this is one of the best places to look for the agami heron. I took this picture of the agami heron, the one at the left side at the corner, at the top of your corner of the screen, of your screen, sorry. I took this picture on May. So that's how an agami heron looks on May. For me, this is the most beautiful egret on earth. Or heron, yes. We also have a grackle, which is at the right side at the top of your screen. This is a very special one. This one is called Nicaraguan Graco, and only in the Caño Negro area is possible to find. This bird likes the wetlands, the marsh. And so it's endemic of Costa Rica and Nicaragua. Besides the Nicaraguan Graco, well, we have the great-tailed grackle. I'm pretty sure that most of you are familiar with grackles. And so we have this vulture, the lesser yellow-headed vulture. This is the smallest species of vultures of the New World. And also this bird likes the marsh. That's why it's possible to find there. And we have a parakeet, a common parakeet. Well, I wanted to show you this bird. Well, the common parakeet is very common to find all over the place in Costa Rica. But here is because I wanted to focus on owling tours, because in Caño Negro, it's a great place to look for owls, to go out at night and look for owls. Just to give you an idea, this last trip that we were owling, we got 4 striped owls, 2 black and white owls, and 1 Pacific screech owl. So I couldn't believe that. We got seven owls in maybe in an hour or so. You know, most of you pretty sure that you all know how difficult it is to find an owl. And to find 7 owls, wow, we all were so happy. So yes, the point of the picture of the common parakeet is like over here, we are going out at night owling, looking for owls. And also we have this common black-collared hawk, which is also a marsh species. This bird likes the wetlands. And a crake. I was thinking about if it was a good idea to show this picture because, well, pretty sure that most of you know crakes are tough, are not easy to find, but we never know. So just with a bit of lucky, we can find one. So this is the yellow-breasted crake. And of course, one of the main targets of the whole trip, the jabiru. This is the largest stork we have in the Americas. This is a massive bird. It's huge. I mean, to see them on fly, it's something like incredible. It's like twice size of the wood stork. And so in Caño Negro area and the Medio Queso wetlands, it's possible to find them during, I would say, during the whole year. So this is one of those species that I'm pretty sure that we can find it if we go there, no matter the season of the year. And we have this other parakeet, olive-throated parakeet. This is a special one because I know it's green, like most of the parakeets. But this one is special because there are just few places in Central America to find it. So for people who likes to have people to like to increase their checklist, their life list. So this is a good place to look for the olive-throated parakeet. I don't know if someone has questions.
Any questions about Caño Negro? There was a general question about lodging, but I'll take that at the end.
Okay.
Any and I may take it now. Any other questions out there? So anytime you write me, charles@pibirdbird.com, I'm happy to send you a lodging list for the tour. We typically do what we call the TripAdvisor format, where we just rate each lodge on a, as TripAdvisor rates it on a 5-point scale. More and more, we're finding our lodges are rated 4 stars about 80% of the time, sometimes 3.5, maybe a few nights in a 3-star hotel. But in the case of Costa Rica, I think it's all 3.5, 4.5 stars. So pretty nice lodging set. And I guess it's a good time to plug. I mean, the Caño Negro Lodge is just like a great setting for bird watching. And we wouldn't stay anywhere else. We welcome the sort of post-pandemic period where service at lodging like goes back up to where it was three years ago. But truly, we haven't had any issues on tours where lodging has impacted tours in a negative way due to the pandemic. I look forward to the day I can stop saying that word, but it may be the rest of my life. I don't know. But yeah, so please send me an email, charles@pibirdbird.com, and I'll send you the lodging list for the tours. And just know that, 80% of 90% of the time we get the lodges that we want. Usually once on Costa Rica tours, we end up with our backup lodge, which is maybe a half-star difference. And there you go. Okay, the question has to be asked. What were you looking at, man? David, you just had your binoculars up. You
Oh yes, I was looking. Sorry, tropical.
That's all right.
Yes.
What?
It was a tropical kingbird.
Oh,
like
come
that.
on, man.
How about a snowy belly hummingbird right there?
Oh, nice.
Yes. So
yeah, no, I mean, when we
one...
first planned these video conference, Juan Diego, who's kind of our other Costa Rican guide, he really wanted to use like his scope and camera to look at birds, and we timed it at a horrible time of the day, and he barely saw anything. Outside of the fact that it's really hard to share video over a phone, over a scope, over the video conference for
yeah.
So it really worked, but it was a nice thought. Any other questions out there? Oh, I do have a new one, perhaps. Perhaps not. My text is refreshing kind of weird today.
Maybe just one more thing.
Sure.
It's about the distance. Did I tell that about? It's like.
Sure.
Oh yeah, no, it's yeah. I think I already talked about that. Sorry, 3 hours or so. No, maybe less. 2 hours, 2.5 hours from Rnl to Caño Negro.
Yeah. Alrighty. Any other questions before we dive in here? And we're wrapping up where, bud?
Okay.
La Selva. Wonderful. Let's hear it.
This is our
From my
last.
perspective, active. It's the one place in Costa Rica I haven't birded, so let's hear it.
Yeah, La Selva, it's a hot spot, right? It's a very popular place all over the world because it's running by Organization for Tropical Studies, which has 3 stations here in the country, one in South America, and I think there's one in Panama and 2 more in Peru. Well, so here in Costa Rica, yes, there are 3 of them. And so it's a very old organization here in Costa Rica, as you see. And so this is, yeah, here the birding is great. I mean, it's the trails are well maintained. This is the place where we have the chance to look for the great green macaw, for chestnut-headed oropendula, and the kill-bill toucan. Well, actually here in La Selva it's possible to find the kill-bill toucan, the yellow-throated toucan, and the collar aracari. So 3 species of toucans in a single day. That's also, it's very good, and it's very possible. So it's not a big deal. About the macaws, well, actually in this area we have both the species, the Scarlet Macaw and the great green macaw. Remember we were talking about that. The Scarlet Macaw is also in the Pacific side, but the great green macaw is only in the Caribbean side. So there is this path right next to La Selva where they nest. There's both species, they nest in this specific area. So normally we go there early in the morning or in the afternoon to look for them. So this is also a good place to look for trogons. In this case, this one that we have here is the slaty-tailed trogon. And woodpeckers. This is a stunning woodpecker. For me, it's one of the most beautiful ones that we have. The cinnamon woodpecker. You don't have this genus in North America. It's Celeus. That's the genus of the woodpecker. It's a Central and South American genus. So we have this other trogon. Well, this is the female of the slaty-tailed trogon. The broad-billed mudmud, which is also, oh, I got a mistake here because I was thinking about to put the Rufus mudmud picture and I put this one because both are possible to find. That's my point. The broad-billed mudmud and Rufus mudmud. Rufus mudmud is the largest mudmud of the country. It's possible to find them both there in La Selva. And we have this white bird, which is the snowy cotinga. Yes, it's a cotinga. Cotingas are special, right? Like the umbrella bird, the fruit crows. So we have this snowy cotinga. To look for this bird, we have to go to the same road where we go to look for the macaws, but we have to go very early in the morning or in the afternoon. So there are just those 2 windows to look for them. And sometimes they show up in different hours, of course, in different places. But yes, not always we found a snowy cotinga. But yes, it's in La Selva. It's like one of the best places to look for them. And I don't know if you have more questions.
Yeah, so I think we're kind of on final wrap up here. Any other final questions from out there? I think we can do open mic, or you can text them in. Either way, you're welcome to ask questions here at the end, even some more general questions about Costa Rica birding or anything specific to La Selva.
La Selva.
Where is La Selva in the country?
We can't find it on the map.
Oh, let me show you. You have to look for Sarapiquí, which is a different name. Just 1 second.